How do I set professional boundaries around personal topics with my boss, especially intrusive questions about my life when a visa sponsorship power imbalance makes it feel risky to push back? I wish I was joking. He actually asked me in front of coworkers when I'm going to have kids and if I already freeze my eggs because I'm old. I'm 33 years old.
Oh, my heart feels for this person. As a 34-year-old woman that doesn't have kids, but also, yeah, incredibly, like you said, loaded and complex, particularly with the added sponsorship and things like that. I think I'll just say what we're all thinking. That's not okay, what you're experiencing. And it makes sense that you'd feel uncomfortable and also unsafe in pushing back with the power imbalance there. So whether it's questions about kids, reproductive choices, or other questions about your life are intrusive, but also inappropriate, and also in front of co-workers. So all of that is not okay. I think just to call that out. I think my biggest concern here is the power imbalance with the sponsorship at play. And you don't have to respond perfectly in the moment, but I think it's perfectly okay for you to draw a boundary when you do experience these things in a professional way. So things like, I don't discuss personal or reproductive decisions at work, or I prefer to keep our discussions work related. If you wanted to be a little bit spiky, you could say, did you really just say that in front of people, and make them think about what they actually just said out loud. Or also raise that conversation with them one-on-one and discuss the uncomfortability of those questions. But I think also before taking bigger action is to document what's happened and to also seek confidential advice. So I think there's two parts of this. I think firstly, it's looking after yourself. So, in that time, are you okay giving yourself time to sit and actually process what's happened? Because sometimes when these loaded questions or things that we're not anticipating come through, we sort of we comprehend it, but then we don't really grasp what actually happened until after and the gravity of it. And so, having that conversation, confirming with a person you trust within the workplace that actually just happened. And if you need to, take care of yourself in any way, if that's connecting with a loved one, talking to someone you trust, having downtime, all those sorts of things, I guess just really making sure that you're safe and that you feel okay in that time. But I guess also the bigger question is, is this the first time this person's done it? I would probably say maybe not. And I guess what's at risk from you being in this situation and those sorts of questions. And I'm curious around what else is happening in this said workplace. So noting dates, comments, witnesses, or who was in the room, the impact that it's had to you, as well as the workplace culture. And then, consider speaking to HR, Fair Work, if you're a union member, a union. Also with your sponsorship, there might be a professional that you can speak to in regards to that and your circumstances and where that leads you. Fair Work, Creative Workplaces Australia have some wonderful resources on their website around lots of complexities with working in the arts in creative industries. So I would feel more than within your right to raise a one-on-one with this individual. If you don't feel confident or like that's appropriate, raise it with someone that is, their direct report, or someone, close to that. It's tricky without knowing direct details, but I guess not okay. And the two aspects are you're safe and you're okay and you're looking after your well-being, and that this isn't something that you should have to ever experience. And then also drawing those boundaries and considering how will you mitigate or, and protect yourself moving forward as well in that sort of complex dynamic. And and I'm really sorry that happened.
Yeah, excellent advice. So one thing that we do have, we can bring up straight away, is we just popped a link to the Never Not Creative support line, which is free legal advice. So if you want to go speak to a lawyer, first of all, just to understand where you stand and what rights you have, then that's a great place to start. Nick, you're a business owner. Obviously not someone who would go and ask this question. But yeah, this is we sort of said this is a fair work case waiting to happen.
Definitely.
Any other thoughts on how you would want that kind of to be brought up?
How I would prefer that to be navigated with me.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't be the one to say it, obviously, but let's say someone that's worked in the business has said it.
If I said, ultimately, or one of my team said something like that, I guess, I mean, I'm a pretty straight shooter, so I prefer people to sort of say, hey, what you said there made me feel X, Y, and Z, and we can deal with that. I think your advice, Aimee, of like in those moments, sometimes getting the person to repeat what they've said back is quite powerful, because sometimes these things that are said, for them to actually have those words again and think about what they've said will be enough for them to go, oh shit, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. That's totally inappropriate thing for me to say. I think that is a good, but it is a bit scary, particularly when there's that power imbalance. So I think, Andy, your suggestion around looking at the support line and understanding what your rights are would be key. And also, were there witnesses? Did people sort of see this? Make sure you document everything.